It's time for the Las Vegas Sports Line.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Welcome aboard. It's the Friday edition of the Las Vegas Sports Line. I'm Dave Cokin. Ralph Michaels says, we got a good show today. Circa Sports, the rage in town right now. I mean, I think they're going to revitalize downtown. I really do. What Derek Stevens is doing down there it's a very bold approach, both from a hotel and sportsbook standpoint. I'm excited about it. It's the most buzz over a new sportsbook in town in a lot of years.
They've set the gold standard as far as sportsbooks are concerned. I mean, options that bettors never had. We were dealing with futures that were unfair just because they had low numbers. Now with the yes-nos they offer, right there they set a new precedent.
And Chris Bennett is the sportsbook manager for Circa, and he's going to join us in just a little bit. Later on, Taylor Soster, he is co-creator of something called Inbetsments. Pretty cool name, actually.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And they do modeling, and they take a little different approach to it. And modeling is the rage as far as the handicapping end of things goes. There's more and more models out there, and I think they all have various uses. We'll talk to it with Taylor and find out what they do at Inbetsments and how you can get involved with it if you like. Now, I have to apologize right out of the gate here. Nelson Cruz hit 3 home runs last night. That's the third straight 3-home run night for somebody, and I believe I read where he's the oldest player to do so since Babe Ruth.
And he did it for the first time in his career after 350-some home runs. Yeah.
So I've got a lot of nerve, but
it's the Red Sox.
You know, it's the Red Sox. They beat the Yankees 19-3, and yeah, I'm biased, and I'm the host, so I get to do what I want. So here's your star of the night.
It's the Las Vegas Sports Line's Star of the Night.
A drive to deep left, and forget about it. It's 3-0 Red Sox. Well, sorry to interrupt, Tom, but Xander Bogaerts just went deep again, and he laughs his way around first base as he tours the bases.
Dave, I thought perhaps you were going to go with the Orioles center fielder who was the first position player ever to get a save. So.
He threw a 55-mile-an-hour pitch last night. We'll have to talk about that for a second. That was one of the weirdest games I've seen all year. Anyway, Xander Bogaerts, who, in spite of the fact the Red Sox are not having a great season, the left side of their infield is. And if you can find a better combo than Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers at shortstop and third base, let me know about it.
Last year I would have said Lindor and Ramirez.
And I think going into this year, you might have said Correa and Bregman.
Yeah.
But the gold standard this year, at least at those two positions, is the combo of Bogaerts and Devers. Time for us to check out the action tonight. Friday, MJ Christensen, 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put the 4s up. Put the 4s up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sports Lines, 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And for those of you too young to know about it, the 4 that's yelled in there is Rodney Dangerfield from the movie Caddyshack. And today, it's Happy Birthday Caddyshack. 39 years ago today it was released. Still one of the best comedies I've ever seen. How about a Fresca? Let's take a look at the games tonight. And we'll start with the Dodgers and Nationals. And Hyunjin Ryu is having an amazing season for Washington. He has just been dynamite all year long. Only a couple of off starts throughout the entire season. But big price for the Nationals on the road against the under-the-radar, still capable Anibal Sanchez, who's, look, he's doing well for the Nationals. He's not gonna completely shut down any opponent, but he's going out there and he's giving quality starts one after another. He's got good game scores at home. Look, the Dodgers are better than the Nationals. Ryu's better than Sanchez, but the price takes that into effect, Ralph. And I don't know about laying as much as 160 here against a team that's been as hot as the Nationals. I think that might be an overlay.
Such a unique scheduling spot. I looked it up. There was nothing really into it, but both the Dodgers and the Braves were off Monday, played Tuesday and Wednesday, and off Thursday. How often do you have a team only playing 2 games in a 4-game stretch?
Very rare.
And they got swept. So you don't know what's going to come out of that. If they didn't have momentum with the Angels series, and now they're playing another series, you do look at the Dodgers. They are only 6-9 as an away favorite this year, a surprising number with their record. But on the flip side, Washington 2-5 as a home dog this year, only 4-15 as a home dog their last 19. And you talked about Sanchez. You look at his last 10 starts. He gave up 7 runs in 4 innings, but that was at Colorado.
Yeah,
in those
it's an outlier, and you just throw it out.
In those other 9 starts, he's only given up 11 runs. I mean, he's pitched an excellent ball.
Crafty right-hander. Cubs and Brewers. The Cubs picked up Derek Holland in a small trade with the Giants today. It actually might have some significance. Holland is very good against lefties, and he will be the lefty specialist for the Cubs. Meanwhile, Hendricks and the Cubbies on the road tonight, and they'll be shorthanded. Chris Bryant is out. Somebody else is out, too, and I'm forgetting who it is. The Brewers. Well, look, Milwaukee's not playing great baseball. There's no question about that. They're only 4 games over 500. And the venerable Gio Gonzalez on the mound tonight. But here's the thing. Gio Gonzalez, hard hit percentage this year. And this is a year where there's a lot of pitchers giving up 40% plus hard hit rates with the high exit velocities on a regular basis. 28% for Gonzalez. Nobody's barreling this guy. You wonder how he does it, throwing what at this point in his career is a pile of junk. But he's commanding it very well, and he's been good for the Brewers. Also, factor in, the Brewers didn't have to play yesterday. Now, if you look at their record off a bye recently, I think they've lost 7 in a row following a day off. But it's still a plus situation for Milwaukee as far as I'm concerned, Ralph, because you know that Josh Hader is available for 2 innings if they need him tonight. And that's really big if it's a close game late.
I agree. Kyle Hendricks, one of those home road dichotomies you talked about, 5.44 on the road, 1.89 at home. The whip at home, 0.89, 1.5 on the road. And Gio Gonzalez, remember, he was on the IL, came back in his last start, pitched, I think, 73 pitches, gave up 3 runs against Greinke in Arizona. I actually went against him in that game and lost late. So you have a rested pitcher who you expect to get better again. I think the Brewers are a very decent play here. They are 6-3 their last 9 games, and they have to have some sense of urgency moving forward.
Let's move on to the Giants and Padres, and now we are hearing a bit of an about-face in San Francisco, because now the buzz is the Giants have decided they're going to look to buy at the deadline and try and get to the playoffs. And you know what? I couldn't agree more. There's no guarantee you're going to get a great prospect for Bumgarner or Will Smith. You'll probably get at least a good prospect, but then even if you do, there's no guarantee the prospect's going to pan out. And the Giants, if they're breaking down the roster and rebuilding, it'll probably be till 2023 till there'll be serious contenders in the NL West. Maybe I'm a little long on that, but you know what I mean. It's going to be at least a couple of years. You got a shot right now, go for it. Jeff Samardzija on the mound tonight at San Diego, a locale where he has pitched very well over the years. It's been a home away from home for Samardzija, but he's up against a guy who pitches extremely well at Petco, and that's Joey Lucchesi. My first glance at this was on the Padres, thinking, well, you know, I think the Giants are going to start to regress some, but that's just an opinion. There's nothing to really base that on. And Lucchesi's very tough at home, but when I looked at Samardzija's numbers at Petco, that gave me a lot of pause for concern, and I decided to leave the game alone.
And a lot of starts. It's not like you have a small sample size with him. He was out 20-some starts.
Yep.
So, you know, it's certainly a situation he likes. I agree with you. You know, I was leaning with Lucchesi. The Giants are only 12-17 against lefties this year, despite being 1 game over 500 on the season.
But better lately, like everything else with them.
Yeah, they've only faced 1 lefty starter in the last 20 days, and they won that game.
Yep.
So, again, you're looking at a sample size from over a month ago, so you don't know how that really reacts to this season. But you look at San Francisco's run, 13-3 over that stretch, and that was batting just about 260. They never really went crazy with their bats. They just got solid hitting. They had solid pitching and timely hitting, and that combination got them to 13-3 in that stretch. The Padres, again, a tough road trip. You go face the Marlins, then the Cubs and the Mets. You're all over the country, and now you make the long trip back home. And how often do you get a 9-game road trip on the East Coast, return to the West Coast, and don't have a day off? So, again, we'll see how they handle that role tonight.
And the one interleague game on the schedule tonight, it's a good one. The Astros and Cardinals. Jose Urquidy will pitch for Houston, making his 4th big league start. Jack Flaherty, who has been very unlucky for the Cardinals. This actually goes back to the beginning of last year. 48 starts, and Flaherty's been really good. The Cardinals are only 19-29 in those 48 starts, so he's been the guy who's suffered from a lack of run support or blown leads late. Whatever the combo, the Cardinals don't seem to win often when he's on the mound. He's up against Urquidy, who went a different route last time out. His first 3 starts, which weren't all that attractive, or first couple of starts. But last start, he basically just threw fastballs, and he did really well with it. So one would expect that's going to be what we see from him tonight. I think this price is, you trust Flaherty more than Urquidy. But the thing of it is, Houston's really hot right now. And one thing I've learned over the past couple of years, don't go against the Astros when they're hot. Try and find them in their down stretches when they have one. When this team's rolling, they can be just plain nasty.
7-1 their last 8, 16-6 their last 22. But if I had to pick a side, I would bet against Urquidy. He lasted 3 2/3 the first start, 2 1/3 the second, and then, as you said, he went 7 innings, allowing only 1 run and 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. I'm going to look to play against a player off that initial great start or quality start he had. But as you mentioned yesterday on the podcast, I tweeted out yesterday, since June 1st, the most profitable and least profitable pitchers. Flaherty is the least profitable, as he's 2-8 in the Cardinals in his last 10 starts for the Cardinals.
Not his fault.
No,
but it's Jacob deGrom syndrome in a way.
A home whip of 0.94. That's not the kind of record you expect with that. A sub-1 whip.
Chris Bennett is the sportsbook manager for Circa, and we talked at the top of the show about the genuine excitement. It's not hype. The genuine excitement surrounding what's happening with this new enterprise that Derek Stevens has put together. It's going to be a fabulous hotel, the world's largest racing sportsbook under construction, and they're already up and posting numbers. And let's just say that Las Vegans have gotten very excited and into this book immediately. And Chris joins us right now. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Very good. You can follow Chris Bennett on Twitter, by the way, at BetChris. Not like the offshore book, but BetChris, BetChris. So when you guys got things started and the announcement got made, and okay, we're going to have a new racing sports book, we're going to open in the spring. Did you expect, did you expect it to get as much steam as it has right away?
Yeah, I thought there was a huge opportunity for us, knowing how much Derek enjoys sports betting, that he really wanted to create something that would be big and popular and really, cater to sports bettors out there. And we're not just here for show. Like, we want to put up odds. We want to put up things that people want to bet on. And I know having Matt as our director, he knows this better than anybody, I think, that what we need to do and what we can do in terms of offering unique things, really competitive pricing, things that people want to bet on, and, really making a name for ourselves in the industry.
And what Ralph said at the top was the first thing that struck him is how player-friendly it is in terms of opportunities to go out there and bet pretty much whatever you want. You guys are going to let people do that, and just a huge menu at the app that's available.
And we're going to be expanding it for sure. So much has gone into creating the sportsbook department here. We took over for William Hill, which was in these locations. So the business, they had no prior experience running a sportsbook. We had to do so much to get everything up and running just to do the basic things. Now that we've got that, we're going to be able to spend more time putting up more of our own original odds on things. We've got, new people that we've hired, and especially as we get into football and basketball season, you're going to see a lot more things on our menu. But yeah, right away we wanted to have things that were unique, and certainly I want to highlight one of them for our future books where, you can bet on a team to win the championship, but we're also offering the ability to bet against a team winning the championship, and we think those yes-no propositions on teams are, going to generate interest and things we want to offer, and will force us to have, really fair odds on the yes prices.
Chris, I can't agree with you more. This is Ralph Michaels, and that's the first thing I said to Dave at the start of the show is, for so many years we've been cheated by future bets and the public taking advantage of just going to their local book and whatever future was available to them and looking at sometimes there was 2 to 3 times better value at